brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on NextView podcast. I have a great guest in studio with me, and I'll introduce her in just a few minutes. First, I would like to say a special thank you to our sponsors. We have the Oliver Whalen team at the Oliver Whalen team at Nova Home Loans. They are an amazing group that can help you out with any of your home loan needs. If you're looking to do a new purchase, if you're looking to refinance, contact the Oliver Whalen team. Justin and Ryan would love to hear from you. And we also have Yvonne Hunter, Dr. Yvonne Hunter from Platinum Home Warranty. If you are looking for a home warranty, whether it's a new home purchase, whether you've had a home warranty in the past and you're ready to change, or you are looking for different options, please contact Yvonne and get a hold of her, and she can definitely help you. And we also have our third sponsor, Security Title. I don't think we have their logo up for some reason, but that's my fault, I'm guessing. So Jeremy Eaton with Security Title is an amazing sponsor of ours. So contact Jeremy for all of your title and escrow needs. So I have Miss Lora Gentles in the studio with me today. Hey, Lora.
Hi.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for inviting me.
Good. So you guys, I asked Lora to come and chit chat with us and talk to us about all things interior design. But I don't know if she knows this, but I think that her story and her journey is especially inspiring because it's a second career for Lora, and she took a big leap of faith in starting this business, and I think she can be an inspiration to others who are thinking about starting business for themselves and making changes. So also, Lora is one of my clients and one of my favorite clients. She's so funny, and we met maybe 4 years ago, I think.
I think it's been longer than that because you got
maybe
us
5.
No, because we were in another house for 5 years. The first one that you got us, and then when we bought this one in Queen Creek, we've been in that for 3 years. So it's been more like 8 years.
No, we did the Queen Creek house. I didn't help you with that other one.
Oh, you did. Oh, sorry.
Lora. So it's like I said, Laura's one of my clients. Her and her husband Thomas, and I think Thomas is watching live. Hey, Thomas. So anyway, Lora, tell everybody who's Lora Gentles. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Tough question. I've been married to my husband. Well, we've been together for over 20 years. We've been married for probably about, if I know Thomas is going to get me if I get this wrong, I think 18 years. We got married in 2002. Okay, so I do remember that. Tia helped us buy our quote-unquote retirement home. And it's larger than what I think we probably needed, but we love it. As Tia had mentioned, I'm in my second career. My career was mostly human resources. After I graduated college, I majored in human resources, but I did minor in fine arts. So I've always been an artist all my life. I draw, I paint. Not too good at photography, but when I was younger, I was into fashion design, and I used to, when I was in high school, used to design my own clothing. So I've always had kind of that artistic eye.
Yeah.
But now in my later years, I found that I just really love designing homes. I used to have a advertisement on TV when they were talking about it was a particular type of furniture, or a furniture store or something, where the woman would come in and she'd redo a hotel room or whatever. Mm-hmm. I felt like when I saw that advertisement, I felt like that was me, because instantly when I walk into someone's home or a hotel room or a lobby or whatever, my eyes immediately start changing things around naturally, rearranging things and putting different things in their place. Yes. So it's kind of a passion that I have, and it kind of made me crazy that I couldn't really get up and do it. So to be able to move into this field has made me pretty happy.
So how long were you in human resources?
Let's see. I started college late, so when I finally graduated, I was already tapping the door of 40. Okay. And right after I completed college, I started human resources. So about 30 years.
Okay.
About 30 years. Mm-hmm.
And so did you find that you would struggle with doing human resources and being in a corporate environment, did you feel like it conflicted with your natural artistic desires?
No, it didn't really conflict. I did enjoy human resources while I was there, and as I said, I would design for neighbors, I would design for family, I would redesign my house if I
and drive Thomas crazy.
Yes. So it didn't conflict. I did enjoy human resources. I was a little concerned when I left human resources because I really felt that I would miss it. It was something that I enjoyed. It was challenging to me, and I thought I would miss it. So it took me about a year to kind of wake myself up and go, look, just do something else that you really love. And so designing was it.
I want to talk about that because I think that was a fun process, because I remember when you were thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and I was so proud of you when you did it, but we'll come back to that in a little bit. So let's talk about how you really like to design houses for your friends and your family in your house. So when you and I met, it was because you wanted me to sell your house on Cozy, and you did so much to that house. When you bought it, the people who owned it had like 4,000 cats in it.
And they had like 20 cats and 3 dogs, and they all lived inside the house. Yes. And the cats weren't calm cats like you usually expect cats to be. They were psychotic. She would rescue them because their owner would probably realize they were ripping the house down, but she would rescue them from being euthanized.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so the cats would come into when we first visited, the house smelled like cat, and the walls were saturated with urine, and the drapes were torn off and the furniture was all torn up, so it was difficult to tell what the house really.
It was hard to visually see, but you saw through all of that. So, and you guys, I don't even know if you know this, but so when I went to Laura's house, it was absolutely stunning. She had great flooring, she had great countertops, great lighting, just beautiful design fixtures. And when you tell her designs are great, she's like, "Oh, really?" She acts all surprised and very humble about it, but she's like, "Oh, I know." In the inside, but you do have a great eye. And we use, like, for the photos we took when we sold both of your properties, we use those in our marketing materials because the house looks great, so the photos are naturally going to look great. So just know that. I'm pretty sure on my website that we have at least 3 photos from one of your houses on there. Well, from Cozy, the Cozy house. So you could definitely tell that you love designing and you definitely had an eye. It only took us 2 weeks to sell Laura's house in a market that was not hot. And she was like, do you think people don't like my house? It's been 2 weeks. And then we get an offer at full price.
Well, what I was accustomed to, I had sold 2 other houses before we started working with you, and we got offers within the first 2 or 3 days.
So I thought, hot market.
Yes. So when it took a week, I'm like, wait a minute.
And it was just a seamless house, and the people love it. They loved everything. They even tried to get you to sell all your furniture with the house, even though we know they weren't going to pay what they should have paid for it. But okay, so we talked about we talked about you being in human resources. We talked about you always designing for other people and you changing your house and just kind of getting your fix by doing those things. So what led you to going into becoming a professional with interior design?
It was a process, as I said, a process that took longer, I think, than it should have. You were very encouraging. My husband was also very encouraging to me. The only difference with my husband was he felt like I had the talent already there. And you kind of indicated, too, that the talent was already there. But I wanted to certify myself to make sure that if I were to work with clients, I was giving them a professionally well-educated individual to determine my recommendations
Right.
for their home. So it was you who went with me I attended the American Institute of Interior Design, that's located in Fountain Hills.
Yep.
And it was you who went with me on the initial interview. I felt
Which was
very
hilarious.
Yes. The director there seemed to be more attracted to you than she was to me, and she just always remembered you. You made a
Was it
really
Judy?
good, Judy.
Yep.
You really made an impression on her. So I really appreciate that you were one of the ones that, besides my husband, who
Yes.
came for my graduation when I
Yep,
finished
did.
it.
I forgot I came to your graduation.
Yes.
I liked that you were really passionate about it, and you asked me, because a lot of people wouldn't ask me to do something like that, and you did. So I'm like, yeah, I couldn't even see saying no to that, because it was something that you wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure I was a friend in that capacity to help you out with it. But I did think you had the talent. I thought you would have done great regardless. But I could see that it really did help you to have the education and the knowledge behind it, and to kind of understand the history
Right.
of architecture, of design, of fabric, and those things.
Right. What it helped us do, what I was amazed, because sometimes when you're out here, you feel like your passions are only your passions and nobody thinks like you. So the other welcoming thing was there was a whole classroom full of individuals who
Yes.
thought like me. It's like, design is my passion. I love doing it. I love putting things together.
Yes.
One of the main things I think that I learned from the school is that you do have a natural eye, just like an artist does. They have a natural eye, but the school taught you the why.
Yeah.
So you could look at something and this goes together, and you go, no, this goes together because it looks good, but you don't necessarily know why it looks good or why it fits.
Right.
And understanding the why helps you develop how to not just do this and this, but do an entire room.
I love it.
Yeah.
So after finishing design school, you decided to go into business for yourself and open up A1 Interior Design.
Yes, and that was not the recommendation of
Or
the
Gentle
director.
One,
Gentle
not
One,
A1.
yeah.
Gentle One Interior Designs.
That was not the recommendation of the director. When all of us were finishing school, she said, go and work for an employer, work for a corporation, in the furniture business or the drapery business or whatever. Get the experience, get the knowledge, get the feel for how to work with people.
Yeah.
And then if you think you want to open up your own business, then do that.
And you were
And
like,
I
no.
went against that. I just took both feet and jumped right in.
And I think that takes a person needs to understand who they are and where they want to go in order to make that decision for themselves. So I think that says a lot about you as, one, a person, two, as a professional, and three, really as an entrepreneur. So it seems like, well, at least from what I gather, is you just had that natural drive to go into business for yourself, and you're like, this is how I want to do it, and this is how I want to run it, and this is why.
Right.
So tell us about your process. Were you afraid to take that leap? Like, what kind of things went through your head when making that decision?
I was very afraid to take that leap. For one thing, I knew, although I'm very familiar with business, I'm not necessarily so strong at what I needed to do as far as marketing, as far as attracting clientele. And then just even when you get a job, to take the responsibility of someone's home and they're spending lots of money to have it designed, taking the responsibility of saying, this is what's going to look good in your space. I think that I'm sorry. What was the question again?
No, just what were the things that? So you said marketing was one of the things.
One of the things I was concerned about. So it didn't take a lot to do, because I had already retired from human resources. I have a comfortable retirement package that I would. So I knew that I would either sink or swim.
Yeah.
I took a portion of my savings and I put it in the business. I opened up, and one of the other things my director said, don't do, is have an opening party at your house. And I did that, and I invited all my friends.
Yes.
And I expected, after that, all my friends were going to tell their friends, and I would have a lot of clients, and that didn't happen. So I had a certain budget that I'd set aside to kind of manage the business, and I kind of decided in my mind, if I lose all this money and nothing happens, I'm still okay because I have my retirement. So I took that portion of money and I started spending on advertisement and started doing a lot of things to try and get my name out there. And I got down to a it was less than half that I had left, and I had already decided you're not going to starve, or
Right.
if it doesn't work out.
Right.
And I had 3 contacts. One I met in the doctor's office, and 2, the other 2 had found me online. Actually, it was 4. It was 4 contacts. One was a good friend of mine. She said, "I've decided I'm going to do my home."
Yep.
One I met in the doctor's office, and I didn't think she'd call me.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 were contacts that had contacted me online. What's good about my business is I'm located in an area where not a lot of designers live. When I went to school in Fountain Hills, all the designers were from Scottsdale or Fountain Hills.
Yeah.
People know designers are there, and they contact them regularly, and they're ready
what
to spend
area are
money.
you in?
I live. My business is in Queen Creek,
Okay.
so I take care of Queen Creek, Santan. I go to Florence. I will go to Tempe. I will go to Chandler.
Okay.
I will not go to Phoenix. I do not go to Scottsdale, and I do not go to Fountain Hills.
Okay.
And even though I know there's probably a lot of money up there that they're willing to spend, my motto is I want to provide high style interior design at an affordable price. So I think my prices are reasonable, and they're more comparable to the people that live around me. And that was one of my goals. The other thing was I knew I wanted to make people happy with their space.
Yeah.
So it wasn't important to me to make like tons of money and get my name up in lights or whatever.
Yeah.
So I really feel that I've accomplished something when I can make a customer happy with what they wind up having.
So let's go back to your contacts that you had. You had 4 contacts in order to get things running, and I know one of your first jobs was a office. Was it an office building?
That was really more like my 5th or 6th job.
Okay,
I was already on a roll there. So my first job was a friend, and I designed. She wanted her family room and kitchen redone.
Okay.
And I asked her, I've known her for years, so I asked her for a style, and she's like, I like what you do, you're free with it. I asked her for a budget, she wouldn't give me a budget. So when I designed her living room and family room section, I designed it how I would have designed it if I lived there. And the reason I did that was because she'd always come to my house and she's like, I love it, I love your house, I love everything that you do. So I thought she would be good with that. And I kind of floored her when she saw the prices of things, and so she backed away. We wound up she came back to me later and said that she wanted to work with me, and I was like, no, we're friends. Let's not try that one again. Okay. So the other 2, well, the one that was.
So let's talk about this. So let's say when a person comes to you and they want interior design, how does that process start? Like, do you go to their house? Do you do a consultation? What does that look like?
Okay. First of all, when I'm talking to them on the phone, I ask them what they want done. So, and
it doesn't have to be a whole house, right?
It can be a room. But what I don't do is I get calls like someone will say, well, I want you to help me pick out accessories. I won't do that because it's not worth my time or theirs for them paying for my time. Okay. So it has to be a room or a couple of rooms or something like that. So they'll contact me.
Would you do just window treatments?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes.
So you do projects like that?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they contact me, I ask them what they want done.
Okay.
And they'll talk for a minute about their home. They'll like, this is a new home and we don't have any furniture, or they'll say, this is an older home, but I'm tired of what's in here and I want to change. And so they'll kind of give me a feel for that. I explain to them that my first step is to come and do a consultation.
Yes.
And I tell them that the consultation is for several things. It's to get a feel for their home and what they want to change, and for me to get a feel for if it's something that I can even do. Okay. And I have been, it was only one person, but I have been to a home, and she said, I only want this and this and this and this. And I said, yeah, I can't do that. And I walked away from it. But I get a feel for it. The other thing that I think is extremely important, I want them to meet me. Yeah. I want them to look at me. I want to talk to them. I want to get a feel for if I like them. Going through a design of a home.
Both can work together.
Yes,
yeah.
Going through the design of a home can be very stressful because they're spending money and they may disagree with some of the things that I say. So it can be very stressful for us. So it's very important that I recognize that I like them and they recognize whether they like me or not.
Okay.
Because if we don't have that bond, it only gets worse after that as we struggle with what's the best thing to do in the home.
Okay. And then do you always recommend that people have a budget in mind before they decide to hire an interior designer?
I've tried that. It doesn't work.
But do you recommend it?
It was always recommended in school. I've tried it several times, but I think that people have the fear that if they tell me I have, I don't know, $20,000 to spend, I'm going to try and spend all $20,000 of that money.
Yeah.
But that's not what I do. So if they tell me, for instance, I have $10,000 to work with and I want to do 5 rooms.
Okay.
What I do is I break up the five rooms individually. I make my recommendations and show them how far $10,000 will get them, which isn't very far if you're doing 5 rooms.
Okay.
I'll show them, and then I let them choose. Okay, because I have $10,000 only, and I want to do. Let's start with this room first, and we'll only work on this room.
Okay.
But
or what's
they
the
have
most important room?
Yeah. The other thing they have a choice of is they can look at each item and they can go, oh well, I don't really want new drapes, and so if we take that off, it's only going to cost this much.
Okay.
So we can get down to, if they're thinking only $10,000, we can get down to that and work room by room, or they can increase their budget.
Okay.
But as I said, I find that they think if I say blah blah blah, she's going to spend every dime of it, and most people won't give me their budget.
So ultimately, you guys, the answer is yes. Have a budget in mind, because if you have a budget in mind, then it's going to help you and your interior designer make good choices, and it's going to help you guys be able to communicate and work together more.
Right.
Because
and I would say if you are not comfortable telling me what your budget is, that's okay. I don't necessarily need to know it, but as Tia said, have something in mind.
Yes.
So that when we get to that point, you can go, whoops,
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah, because one, it helps you when you're giving them estimates, or when you're picking out items and you have an idea of what their style is, you can professionally recommend to them up front, this is the average of these things. If this is your particular style, these are all champagne level items. This is your beer budget. Let's look over here. Or maybe, am I on the right track?
You're absolutely on the right track.
Or maybe you have a huge budget and all these items are going to cost you way less because it's more beer level.
Right.
Okay, very good. So they meet with you, you go to their house and they say, okay, Lora, I'm going to hire you. Then what's the next step after that?
The next step is I put together a design plan for them. So if they have 1 room or 3 rooms or whatever, when I do the consultation, let me explain some of the things that I do. I talk to them. I have a questionnaire that I go through, but I also kind of chit-chat and get to know them. They give me a tour of the house so I can get a feel for. I ask them to show me things that are going to stay and things that they want to replace or whatever.
Okay.
I take pictures of every room, even the rooms that we're not going to do, because again, I'm trying to get a sense of their style.
Okay.
So I take pictures of every room, and then I take measurements of the rooms that we are going to do something in.
Okay.
So I have all the measurements. So I go home, I determine what my upfront fee is going to be. So I do charge a fee. My fee is paid upfront.
And that's a consultation fee?
No, the consultation fee is one fee. That's flat $110 just for me coming and taking the pictures and the measurements and all that.
Okay.
When I go back, I take the information that I've gathered, and there's a formula that my director gave me based on square footage of the home, square footage of the rooms that you're doing, and the number of items that you're going to suggest changing.
Okay.
I don't have to use that anymore because I've done enough homes where I can go, okay, this house is the size of so-and-so's house, and they're kind of doing the same thing, which is usually kind of the same thing.
Okay.
And I can say, this is my fee.
Okay.
When I call them back, I say, okay, if you and I are going to work together, this is going to be my fee, and this is actually my design fee. fee.
Okay.
The design fee is paid up front.
Okay.
If we decide to work for each other. Plus, they give me any money that they need to purchase furniture, because I purchase the furniture, I hire all the contractors, all of that, but I don't use my own money. I use their money for their home.
Okay.
So once they say, okay, I want to hire you, I put together a full design plan.
Okay.
So every room, I will take it and I will design it right down to the end based on which furniture stays, which furniture goes, and what I have to purchase.
Okay.
And I create a board for them.
Okay.
What do I call it? A project board.
Project board.
That
Okay.
shows, this is your room, this is the bed I'm suggesting, this is a spread I picked out for you, these are the lamps, this
Wow.
is the color I'm suggesting. I think that it would be nice if we added wallpaper. This is the wallpaper I selected, and I'll do it for each room. And then they have the option of going, well, I really like the bed and this, but not real crazy about that wallpaper. Can we pick something else? Absolutely.
Well, that's
And
nice because it gives them a visual, and you have the fabric on there so they can even feel it.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
And then if they decide, so they'll talk about what they want to change. And then if they decide that they want to work with me, that's when they pay my fee.
Okay.
Plus whatever they want to put down towards purchasing whatever we've decided they needed to get.
Okay.
And I will work with them. I've got one client that's going on a year that I'm still working with. So there's no deadline. There's nothing that says, it's over in 3 months or 6 months or whatever. I will work with them until they are satisfied with the design and everything's done that they want to have done.
Okay. Now we talked about it for just a brief second. So you do residential.
Yes.
You do commercial offices.
Yes.
So like a doctor's office, a real estate office, just businesses.
Yes.
Anything else that you work on that maybe I haven't touched on?
No, I've had a couple of clients ask me if I do outside patios.
Oh, okay.
I am willing to help them with it, but it's certainly not my specialty.
Okay.
So I would probably say no. If they want, if they have something in mind and they ask me, what do you think of it? I will give my opinion. But
Okay.
I unlike what I do in the interior, which is design the entire room, I don't do outside spaces.
Now let's say a person calls you and they have no clue of what they want. I'm guessing that probably
Absolutely.
happens more often than not.
Yes.
They know they want a nice space. They know they don't like what they currently have, and so they want something different. How do you work with people who have no clue? How does that work?
Well, I usually carry with me a packet of magazines, of the latest magazine, like
Okay.
Decor and Phoenix, what is it called? The Phoenix magazine.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually have a number of different styles in that, and I can give them the magazines to look at. Or the other thing that I will do is, when they were touring the house, I'll ask them to show me something you really like.
Okay.
Pick out and if they don't have like an item, that I had this problem with one of my other clients, I said, pick an item of clothing that you really like. And that helped her. She picked out this shirt that she's had for a number of years with different colors in it, but it gave me a feel for that she was a very colorful person and she wanted a lot of color
Okay.
in her room.
Okay.
Because we couldn't decide on a style. And so she's one of the ones I've been working with for quite a while, but
Okay.
so far she's pretty happy with what we're doing.
That is awesome. So tell me what you like most about designing, about helping others make their spaces beautiful.
What I like most, I like I love the feeling of accomplishment. It's something very different from human resources. Nothing was tangible.
Mm-hmm.
You might have an employee go away very happy, or you might have an employee go away very disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm doing my job right, all of my clients are going to be happy, and I strive for that, so that when they're finished, they're very happy.
Okay.
To give you an example, I was working with a client, and it was a husband and wife, and evidently the wife had decided that they were going to do this design. It was their winter home, and they were going to do this design. And the husband, although he was never rude to me, you could tell, because every time I came in there, he'd leave the room or go outside on the patio, was very, very much against it. And I worked with the wife, and she included her husband in a lot of the decision. By the time we finished that design, because they had to go back in October or something to go back to their winter home, by the time I finished it, the husband was so happy.
Wow.
He was friendly with me, but he loved the space, loved it. So
because you can usually feel a difference in how you move through a space. It's like the difference between walking into a cluttered home versus walking into a house that is very much clean and neat and not cluttered.
Right.
Which is how I like it.
Right. What I find a lot of the time with my clients around here is I walk into a home that doesn't, although the person is very bubbly and they love color, they're afraid of it. So I walk into this bland home. So everything's beige or brown. And I have to convince them that it's okay to bring color into it. And I pick the colors that they like, and we make sure that when it's done, the room is bright and cheery.
There you go. I love it. So where can people see examples of your work?
I do have a website. It's Gentle1, I'm forgetting my name. Gentle1, the number 1, interiordesigns.com.
Perfect. So www.gentle1interiordesigns.com.
Yes.
And if a person wants to call you, what's your phone number?
You can, I don't know my business phone number off the top of my head.
So but it's on your website?
Yes, it is on the website. So I don't call my business phone number, but I do use my personal phone number, a mobile phone number, so they can reach me at 480-326-5610.
Perfect.
And it rings to this exact same phone. I just have 2 different phone numbers on there, so you can use that one.
Okay, well, good. All right, so you guys, Lora, thank you for joining us today. Was it as painful as you thought it might be?
Yes. No. I'm just.
You look really comfortable to me. So, no, in all sincerity, thank you so much for joining. Thomas, thank you for watching this whole time. We appreciate it. He didn't even make a joke. He didn't even make a joke. Her husband is so funny and always likes to make jokes, but he didn't even say anything. Well, at least I didn't see anything.
She was when we met her. One story I wanted to mention is one of the ways she got selected was I was interested in buying a new home, and my husband had decided we are not just going to use anyone. We've got to use an African American person, and you've got to find him. And so I went online. I think it was Realtors.com or something. I went online, and it wasn't until I got to the M's that I found, because I had decided in my mind I wanted the person to be female. I hadn't won him over, but Tia, he's always got jokes to crack, and Tia was right back with his comments. He loved it. She came back with quick responses to every little smart comment he had to say, and he loved it, and she got the job instantly.
Well, the weird thing is I don't even notice that I'm that quick. I mean, I know it, but I don't think about it in the moment. And so Thomas, you guys are absolutely awesome. So I don't know. We'll be friends for life. Yes. Whether you buy or sell something else in the future, or Thomas finds this house with a tennis court he's looking for. He just commented and said, "I am such a serious person." You're right.
Okay.
So we know he's paying attention.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you again for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
And for those of you that are tuning in, thank you so much for watching. Again, we want to say a very special thank you to our sponsors, Justin and Ryan from the Oliver Whalen team at Nova Home Loans. Again, call them for your mortgage and mortgage needs, whether it's a new home purchase, whether it's a refinance purchase. They are there to answer all of your questions, whether you want to make a purchase or refinance now, or you want to do it in a year from now. Also, Yvonne Hunter from Platinum Home Warranty. Yvonne is great. And you guys, somebody actually called me today in regards to, I guess their air conditioner went out, and so they were thinking instead of spending all the money in their pocket, they would do a refinance and to purchase an AC unit. Platinum Home Warranty will actually let you, they have very favorable financing terms for your benefit if that is something that you want to do. So contact Yvonne for anything home warranty related. And then we also have Security Title, Jeremy Eaton from Security Title, if you guys have title services needs. So once again, you can reach me, Tia Moore, at www.tiamoore.com. And you can also reach me on Facebook and Instagram at nextviewtia.com, and on Facebook under Tia Moore. I will see you soon, and have a great day. And thank you for Farai. Thanks, Lister Pros. Have a good day, everyone.